The world we build impacts almost every human being on this planet. From the environments that we call home, to the way we travel, generate our energy, drive our economies, and shape our children, it is the construction sector that underpins the direction of our societies. But despite its fundamental impact on our way of life, our approach to construction has changed little over the ages, and we still use many of the same techniques and materials to build prototype structures in volatile outdoor environments. Now, as our planet experiences unprecedented change, the sector is embracing rapid advances in digital technologies and making a bold shift towards the world of manufacturing, merging the two to usher in a new dawn. For centuries, the way we construct our world has remained largely unchanged. Still using many of the same materials and processes, each project that the construction sector undertakes requires the delivery of a unique product in a unique outdoor location. Moving works away from the challenges of each site and into controlled conditions offers many benefits. Economies of scale can be achieved through automated production lines. Productivity can be significantly improved, and quality can be ensured. Such an approach also reduces the amount of time that a project is on site for, helping to lower costs, negate site-specific challenges, and to minimise disruption. The extent to which construction works are taken away from their final sites varies hugely. While volumetric solutions create entire enclosed spaces remotely and then deliver those to site for installation, non-volumetric systems are large elements of a building or structure that are prefabricated before being brought to site. On a more granular level, component-based approaches and platform systems create a kit of parts and draw from a series of predetermined items that are consistent across a number of projects. Each of these off-site construction approaches offer different benefits, and each has its advantages depending on the type of project being built. However, non-volumetric and component-based approaches can retain the benefits of off-site production while offering the adaptability needed across the many different types of site that the construction industry contends with. But despite the seemingly compelling benefits, over several decades the concept of off-site construction has struggled to find traction. Now, with many countries facing rising populations, housing crises, and a lack of skilled people coming into their construction workforces, and with technology coming to the fore, there is renewed excitement in the concept. It is technology in particular that is helping to make the step change and overcome the long-established barriers. The rise of automation is hugely increasing productivity on production lines, while digital design information is helping to streamline processes and increase accuracy. It is in this way that the concept of off-site construction is rapidly evolving into offsite manufacturing, a shift that sees the construction process move much closer to the approaches of the manufacturing sector and the techniques it has honed. That shift can be clearly witnessed at the UK's Explore Industrial Park. Conceived and owned by Laing, a global general contractor with some 13,000 staff and an £8 billion pipeline, the vast factory is the most automated concrete products facility in Europe. Since opening in 2009, Explore has manufactured concrete elements for some of the UK's most impressive projects, including London's 48-storey Leadenhall skyscraper and Terminal 2 at Heathrow Airport.
Explore Industrial Park is one of the most advanced precast manufacturing facilities in Europe. It allows the Laing Group to control its own supply chain to a large extent. We can react quite quickly to requirements on site as a result of that.
With EIP, Laing has managed to move 70% of its on-site manufacture to an off-site means, and that's brought a 60% increase in productivity and a 30% increase in accuracy to the delivery schedule.
What sets us apart from other precast manufacturers is our use of automation through machinery on the factory floor, also software tools that we're using. We do a lot of engineering of our processes to ensure we're as efficient as possible.
Automation is very much a part of that paradigm shift, and having the right automation can eliminate most of the issues a typical design process would encounter. So your human error, your uncertainty, your factor of risk, everything else is just eliminated when you have a reliable, precise system doing it for you.
Throughout the last 10 years, Explore Industrial Park has continually evolved and innovated, embracing automation and digital technologies as they have matured. Repetition, honed processes, quality control, and a consistent flow of work are all key to the facility's success. In this context, it is critical that the design information shared with the production teams that is used to cast and form concrete components is accurate. For major projects like Manchester Airport's transformation programme and Liverpool's new specialist cancer hospital, both of which are currently moving through the factory, the importance of accurate digital data could not be more acute. Errors in production can slow the overall progress of projects, affect other activities out on the construction site, and mess up the factory's work schedule, costing time and money.
Because we're at the point where things are cast in concrete, as they would say, it's quite important that we assess every single facet of the design.
From a project landing at Explore, we would meet with the site team, the clients, architects and structural engineering consultancies, as well as interfacing disciplines. We'd go through the product set, look for similarities between different component types, and we'd try to rationalise them. This allows us to achieve a level of standardisation across a project.
We take the concept that the architects and the engineers want to enforce and bring that to reality. So we have to think about how manufacturable it is, how handleable it is, and how viable it is for the build.
A typical manufacturer would generally produce one product type in one precast factory. This precast factory, we produce multiple, so we can supply all the precast on the project. That allows a certain level of coordination between the different product sets. Other things that set us apart are the complexity of the products that we're willing to manufacture. Traditionally, precast concrete, it's fairly simple geometries. We do a lot of architectural product here at Explore that you might not find elsewhere.
From the outset of a project, Laing O'Rourke's teams consider which elements could be fabricated away from the construction site. Working within the broad parameters of what the factory can achieve, they then develop detailed design information models to inform both the construction and operation process and the manufacturing of components. To ensure the accuracy of their digital information, the team use Solibri Office to validate its contents. Pulling information from various different members of the design team into a single combined or federated information model in Solibri, the tool can then be used to check the quality of that data, communicate any issues, enable quantity takeoff, and classify components. With their design information quality checked, the team then issue digital production information directly to the factory floor, where the process of component manufacture begins. From the cutting and fabrication of steel reinforcement cages, including placement of the ties, to the distribution of concrete across the factory, the pouring of that concrete, and the process of curing it, Laing O'Rourke's manufacturing process is highly automated, helping projects delivered through Explore to take significant strides in productivity. Once produced, the building elements are loaded onto vehicles, taking into account the order that they will need to be unloaded in, and are transported to their sites. Those on the ground in the project's location are able to seamlessly engage with and see the data about their scheme through tools like Solibri Anywhere, which enables access by any member of a project team wherever they may be, and Solibri Site, specifically tailored to those working in the field. The geographic positioning of Explore in the very centre of the UK is deliberate, and the factory has created components for sites in both the south of England and in Scotland. From the outset of the design process, right through manufacturing to the delivery and installation of components on site, and the operation of the built asset afterwards, the entire process is informed by digital data. The success of such projects is therefore dependent on the quality of the data used, and the idea of not quality checking or validating it seems very risky.
If something's inaccurate, it can not only be at the detriment of your product and your quality and your safety, but it's immediately visible in your coordination checks. I mean, as a species, we're quite a visual species, so now that we're doing everything in 3D, it needs to be spot on or you will know about it.
One of the things that we use Solibri for primarily is checking the quality of the incoming information. So prior to us receiving information at Explore, we provide the consulting engineers or architects with a library of standard objects, produce a BIM object library. We then pass that back to the consulting engineers. They populate their model and then provide us that information. We'd also do checks between the different precast elements for construction joints to make sure that's as per the agreed details.
You're able to streamline the design in the best way possible and ensure that everything works before it's tangible in any way, shape or form. So for us, it's very key that we get the models and all our theoretical understanding of the entire structure spot on before it gets anywhere near the floor or sites.
Once all the issues have been closed out, then we would transfer the model through into our precast RC detailing platform. We add more detail to the models. We'd be adding information such as casting fixtures, reinforcing bars, basically to get a digital model as to what we're trying to produce actually out in the factory.
Having a safe system that is able to carry out these checks for us, it eliminates the possibility of human error and uncertainty, giving us a much better outcome in the way that the product is built. Information not being right has impacts to every single facet of the system. Because if you think about not just the safety and economy of the whole thing, it's the environmental impact as well. So to move 6 tons of concrete all the way down to a project, let's say in London or up in Edinburgh, and to have it wrong on site wastes a lot of time and money. So it's always key that we get it right the first time.
Explore Industrial Park effectively sees two of construction's most disruptive new innovations come together under one roof. Offsite Manufacturing, enabled and further advanced by digital technology. Run on digital data, Laing O'Rourke's use of Solibri during design, manufacture and final assembly is key to ensuring the process runs smoothly, underpinning the success of countless projects. Indeed, as our world becomes ever more dependent on data, ensuring the accuracy of that data so that it can serve us in the best ways possible is critical.
It's about having controlled conditions, controlled quality, precision, all of the good things you get from a factory setting that you may not ideally have the ability to implement on site.
There's quite a lot of complexity in the systems that we have based at EIP.
As a factory, we look at ourselves as any other factory, the same way an automotive factory would look at the way they manufacture things. While we are indeed in a very archaic industry that hasn't changed much since the Egyptians, we are trying to be the best we can be by looking at industries that are fundamentally ahead of the game in the way they produce things. So we're not trying to just be the best construction concrete facility we can be, we're actually trying to be the best manufacturing company we can be.
The approaches employed at Explore Industrial Park that can offer improvements in productivity of 60% could be the answer to making a step change in overall performance across the wider industry. With others now following suit, and with the trend gaining in momentum across the sector worldwide, combining the power of digital technologies with the approaches that have made manufacturing so successful is seemingly ushering in a digital manufacturing revolution in construction that could transform the built world, shaping all of our lives.